Some non-news for everyone. Meghan Markle has been interviewed on the television again, and this time with Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGenerate was that? I heard there.
Never. Anyway, we'll get the first web clip up here, and this, I believe, is the first time she has sat down for an interview since the infamous and quite frankly just terrible Oprah Winfrey one 8 months ago, which, as we know, the royal family was particularly displeased about. But anyway, if we scroll down a little bit, Meghan Markle in this interview, according to Sky, spent most of the time revealing just how happy she and Prince Harry were living in California to Ellen DeGeneres, who had previously referred to them both as the cutest couple.
Why do I just, in my head, when I imagine this, I'm just seeing, the only thing I'm seeing is the Wojaks of Meghan being the, come along, dear, and Prince Harry being the downtrodden, dejected, completely drained. Yes, dear. You know, that's what, aren't we having such a wonderful time in California?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, that's all I can picture in my head.
Yeah, it would be amazing if in one of those moments he actually, I don't know.
Isn't it funny as well that Meghan's always the one who comments on this and Harry sort of stays at arm's length with his head down, talking into his shirt.
Take it from me.
Take
it from me. I am waiting for a glorious Tyrion Lannister moment from Harry at some point. It maybe it's wishful thinking.
Which Tyrion Lannister? Oh, what? That's no, disavow if that's what you're talking about. Which one are you talking about? There's some bad stuff happened to Tyrion. Is all I'm thinking. I don't want to mislead people.
No. Is it? No. I'm referring to, of course. His wishing for the entire.
Oh, okay. Turn to ashes in your mouth. You mean his trial?
Yes, I should have been more specific.
I was thinking about how some of his relationships ended up in Game of Thrones, and I was going to say I don't stand by those
I wasn't alluding to that at all. Anyway, I shall move on. The interview is, of course, broadcast just over a week after Meghan apologised for misleading the Court of Appeal over her recollection of the information he's provided. Which provided authors of an unauthorised biography finding freedom about her and Prince Harry. But anyway, Meghan shared some touching details about her family life to Ellen, saying that raising 2 children so far as a mother has been, wonderful, as it is, I'm sure, for any caring mother.
Of course.
She said Archie loves to dance, Lily loves to teave, Archie loves being a big brother to his younger sister, and this is the worst bit. The family now refers to DeGeneres as Auntie Ellen. So they only seem to have interviews with people they're already good friends with.
Well, I'm sure that means that there's no awkward questions that get asked.
Yeah. But anyway, this is where it gets interesting. After this is the last 8 minutes of the video, it was revealed that Meghan went to join in with a prank after DeGeneres told her through an earpiece to carry out embarrassing tasks in front of unsuspecting market stall vendors. And this is what everyone is talking about.
Oh, God.
So shall we see...
Do we have to?
What we do, I'm afraid. Let's see what this is all about.
I'm going to crawl out of my skin watching this, aren't I?
What do we have here?
What do we have here?
What you got? What you got?
What you got? What you got? What you got?
Well, we do a variety of vinegar-based hot sauces.
Let Mommy taste some.
Let Mommy taste some.
No, my boo loves hot sauce, so
My boo loves hot sauce,
so
so
I wanna try some.
I'm gonna try it.
Start you with a mild one.
Bounce up and down. You're very excited. I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Eat it like a little chipmunk. That's not spicy.
That's not spicy.
Okay.
Let me try something real hot.
Let me try something real hot.
Okay.
Mommy wants some heat.
Mommy wants some heat.
Have we had enough of this yet? Have we had enough of I've had enough of this.
It does
Like
go
a
on.
chipmunk.
It does.
Does it? Must it?
Yeah. Well, I think I've seen enough.
I think we can pause there,
Thank you
John.
very much, John. So, yeah.
I failed to see the comedy.
How the not so
that.
mighty have fallen even further.
I mean, if nothing else, it was an excellent demonstration of her ample acting ability.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is just embarrassing. But some of the responses have actually been pretty gold, so we can treat this as a palate cleanser, if you like. And this is royal biographer Angela Levin, who said on GB News this morning that it was one of the worst things she had ever seen.
Speaking
I
for
think
all
it's
those
one of the
with taste.
worst things I have ever seen in my entire life. It's sort of how low can you go?
Is the royal institution, is the monarchy made a mockery of by association?
Well, of course, because she's still a member of the royal family, although not a working member of the royal family. These things rub off, don't they? I mean, if you're friendly with someone who behaves abominably, people think that actually, can they trust you? This was shocking. The other one, which was her telling in minute detail about a car that broke down when she was trying to get acting jobs and she had to crawl through the back, right? But she went into amazing detail. Now, this happened about 16 years ago when she was very young. And that struck me that how come she can remember that in great detail, but she can't remember talking to an aide over a very serious matter over several months about finding freedom, which was very important to her and very important to Harry.
Yeah.
So it is
Cheers,
so
John.
crass.
That will do.
Very, very perceptive there in terms of recognising Meghan's selective memory of the past events within her own life, and also just speaking for everybody with taste there, and everybody for Britain, that yes, it is very embarrassing. It is a national embarrassment that this woman is, through merit of being part of the royal family now, kind of representing the royals to a certain extent. I mean, you wouldn't see Liz running around markets. I mean, that poor chap who was actually at the stall just looked awkward and slight and confused more than anything. As I would be, I'd be like, what is this nutbag doing? Is this Meghan Markle? What's she doing? Why is she doing these? Go away. Yeah,
security.
Go away. Please.
And, no doubt she would have made a case of racism out of that as well. But it's honestly, I mean, it's almost as if she's applying for a job at CBeebies.
Oh no! Don't give her any ideas.
Oh, darn it! I shouldn't have said anything.
I don't want Meghan Markle on Blue Peter, please. I mean, I've not watched Blue Peter ever, actually.
I had no idea it was still going, to be perfectly honest.
It is.
Oh, it is. But anyway, another entertaining response has been Telegraph's review of Meghan's interview, which is here. And they basically summed it up as, well, for what it is really, quite generously, a cheesy and plastic interview.
I'm shocked they gave it 3 out of 5, to be honest.
Yeah. It's exceptionally generous. But they say Meghan's performance suggested her acting skills had been wasted all those years, playing an ambitious legal secretary on Suits. If we scroll down a little bit.
Oh, is that what she was in?
Yeah, she was in Suits. And while amusing, it was also hard not to think of Harry at home with his head in his hands. The entire affair was massively toe-curling, particularly if your second name is Windsor and you grew up in a castle. Well, needless to say, looking at that performance, she did not blimmin' grow up in a castle, did she? She wouldn't have left the castle if she was seen acting like that.
She absolutely would not. I don't know if I don't know if I'm referring to anything historically accurate there, but I'm sure that in the past the royals probably took any of the less desirable members of the family and just kept them out of public notice and kept them out of sight from people. If Meghan was actually part of the royal family and had behaved like that, I'd imagine she'd have been in one of those rooms far away from where anyone could see her. Yeah.
But anyway, if we scroll down a little bit more, I think right near where the bottom was. Yes, here we are. So a bit later on, it says, Meghan often struggled to hold back tears talking to Oprah. Seated across from Ellen, she couldn't stop smiling. Amongst an adoring audience, all wearing masks, funny enough, she radiated California positivity. And this interview felt like the sort that could only take place in a land of endless optimism and boundless sunshine. It was as bright as a Hollywood smile and probably as fake as one too.
Yeah, that was what I was going to respond to all of that, is that the idea of Californian positivity and the endless optimism and boundless sunshine. Have you ever watched anything by Bill Hicks, the old comedian?
I haven't.
He died in the 90s. He had many jokes about California, everybody being plastic. He said that the sun's always out there, it's always warm, the people there must be lizards. And he had something that ended up inspiring a Tool song, appropriately named Enema, about how California should get flushed down into the Arizona Bay or something like that. Just get sucked into the ocean, off with you, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And when you see stuff like this, it really does make you sympathise with his perspective. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it does. They live almost in their own virtual reality, don't they? And I think that's the most important, the most significant and productive thing you can take out of this interview, really. It's the encapsulation of Californian ignorance and arrogance. It's one cultural elite being interviewed by another to an audience almost again entirely face masked, who just want to see sunshine and rainbows and will not see anything else.
Yeah, I mean, this is once again, you're right that it's one cultural elite being interviewed by the other. We have seen time and time again with Meghan, she seems to surround herself with people who are not confrontational, who are completely unwilling to try and challenge any of the claims that she is making. They will simply nod and gasp every so often. I think we've all seen the clips from the Oprah interview. Whenever Meghan says anything, no matter how absurd or unreal it may sound, or how much it may need challenging in terms of did that actually happen, Oprah just sits there, mouth agape, shocked. Oh my goodness. But at the same time, we know all of these people are hypocrites. Ellen DeGeneres recently, I think last year, got called out for treating her staff backstage like absolute garbage. There are so many photos available online of Oprah happily, openly introducing young, upcoming starlets to Harvey Weinstein. We know behind the facade that is Hollywood, it is a festering cesspit of degeneracy.
Yes, it is.
To be perfectly honest, that encourages people to go there and ruin their own lives for the idea of some kind of stardom, so that you can get up in front of a crowd of people just like you and virtue signal to how perfect and virtuous that you all are. I mean, I absolutely stand by the Ricky Gervais Academy. Was it the Academy Awards?
The Golden Globes.
Yeah, the Golden Globes
on my
speech.
birthday in 2020. I will never forget.
Was that on your birthday?
On
That
my
was
birthday.
a hell of a gift.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gervais.
It was a hell of a gift. That he basically, you know nothing about anything. Like you're not in a position to tell. You don't live in the real world. You're in no position to tell anyone how to live their lives. Of course, he can do it far better than I can. But it was just about one of the most, I think, fresh things I've heard from someone in a very, very long time.
Ricky Gervais is one of the few people who was in that sort of group who was able to and willing to call them out on all of their BS. So once again, it seems that Meghan has expressly escaped to California so that she can be in that sort of bubble where she doesn't have to get challenged by anybody.
Yeah.
And Harry, who's a shame to anyone, also called Harry, not that I have any personal responsibility there, it just lets her get away with it. He's absolutely cooked.
Yes.
And for the love of God, man, get your house in order.
Yeah. Well, there's only one way he can do that, isn't there? I must say that I didn't know that fact about Oprah, that link with Harvey Weinstein.
Have you not seen the images?
No, I haven't.
All over the place. If you just type in Harvey Weinstein Oprah, there are hundreds of photos of her just sort of like, oh, here's so-and-so starlet, here's so-and-so starlet. You know, it shows you the rank hypocrisy that exists within Hollywood.
Yeah, and she continues to enjoy the rank that she's at in the Hollywood cohort.
Yeah, no one will call her out.
That is absolutely, needless to say, disgraceful. But we actually, I mean, Hollywood, if anything, and I think, well, Ricky Gervais does an excellent job in pointing this out. I mean, Ricky Gervais himself is far from a conservative. I mean, he's one of the most socially liberal, progressive people that there is.
I don't know how much I'd describe him as a progressive. He seems to be kind of in that old school, I don't know how you describe it, maybe atheism plus Sam Harris.
You know, he's always been a supporter of, for example, gay rights, gay marriage.
Yeah,
he's always always been very he's ecologically sensitive as well.
Well, the further we get from those movements, the more that him staying in place takes, him staying in place from those positions that he used to hold, well, that he still evidently does hold, but not changing to carry with the tides that are pushing everything further and further left. As the Overton window shifts, all of a sudden he is becoming closer and closer to, you could say centre left in terms of his attitudes, because I've not heard him talk about transgender issues, although at the same time I would imagine that he would probably be in maybe the J.K. Rowling position if he did come and speak out about it.
It seems to be the case. If not Afterlife, what's his comedy show called? Humanity. If Humanity is anything to go by, that would suggest he's very much in that camp. I mean, he made fun of the whole dead naming thing in the case of was it Caitlyn Jenner?
Oh yeah, good. I'm glad that there are still people out there who are willing to, in the mainstream eye, who are willing to make a stance and put their foot down, alongside Dave Chappelle and others like him.
Yeah, but in the case of Meghan Markle, what he's making sure about this Hollywood culture is it doesn't have anything to do about them collectively believing they're doing the right thing. It's about them being posturing the fact that they're doing the right thing to each other.
It's very self-righteous. It's to inflate their own egos.
It's amoral. That's what it is.
Yes.
And well, there was an entire, of course, segment that I have done on this, based on, of course, the wokeness or the hyper reality of wokeness. So please do have a look at that.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can catch us live 1 p.m. UK time on our website. And if you'd like more from us, you can also subscribe to find some of our premium content.
Yeah, we actually have absolutely loads on there now because we're over a year old at this point. So we've got a massive library of content that you can't find anywhere else, such as our regular series, which are Contemplations and Epochs. Contemplations, we have philosophical and scientific discussions. And in Epochs, we have long, in-depth conversations about things that happen in history. This one we did recently about the Nika riots, the absolutely brutal Nika riots in Constantinople. I really enjoyed doing myself. But we also have access to, we also have loads of expert articles from people who know what they're talking about, such as this one talking about the misnomer of postmodern neo-Marxism. You may well remember Jordan Peterson getting castigated by left-wing activists for using the phrase. Well, it is a bit of a misnomer, but Thomas happens to be an expert in this subject, and so he takes you through it. And as you can see, there is a silver and gold tier member audio track that goes along with it. So if you don't want to have to read it, you can just listen to it instead. But we also have a bunch of premium podcasts that we can't really host on YouTube because of editorial guidelines, shall we say, such as Harry doing this excellent one, What Happened to the January 6th Rioters, and another one, in fact, that Harry and myself did about a whistleblower from a German public broadcaster talking about the COVID coverage and the particularly engineered narrative in which they can't talk about certain things. And so this leaves a bunch of questions up in the air, and we explore that. Again, editorial guidelines mean we can't really host that elsewhere. We also have a bunch of really excellent interviews. I did one recently with a chap called Philip Tanzer. He's if you're a men's rights activist, you may have heard of him because he comes out of that space, but he's also an ex-gay porn star who's turned conservative activist who has some very interesting opinions.
Very interesting trajectory to take.
Yeah, it's the sort of person you're probably not going to meet in your regular life, but he's a fascinating guy. He's a really nice chap. And also follow us on alternative media because, of course, we want to break the stranglehold of Silicon Valley over everything that we do. And this means that follow us on platforms like Getter, where you can follow Lotus_com to get all the latest updates from us. And also, we are speaking, or I am speaking, at a conference hosted by Getter at the London O2, the Indigo section of the London O2 on December the 8th. I'll be speaking there as it's part of the Counterculture conference, where we're talking about why what is happening to the West is happening and what we can do about it. So part of that is following us on Getter and coming and see us, and of course, subscribe because that keeps everything running.